Papua New Guinea and welcome to another episode of Business PNG. New approaches are needed to address the challenge of the rising unemployment rates in the country. At the National Development Forum, the general consensus was that more could be done to encourage and support skills development and employment opportunities for Papua New Guineans.
It's no secret that the country has a high unemployment rate, largely because of the scarcity of jobs as well as a skills shortage in urban areas. Thousands of students pass out of secondary and tertiary institutions every year with meager hope in finding employment in the formal sector. And the urban drift brings people from the rural communities to the town centers but leaves them unemployed. These high unemployment rates have also raised concerns about the hiring of foreign nationals into the country, employed in jobs that locals should be doing. It's a complex issue that requires a synergy of stakeholders working together to strengthen policy and to implement them so that all Papua New Guineans can benefit.
And it's making this connection between what employers need from workers and what workers are looking for that is now very important. How do you bring those two things together? How do we make sure that the courses and the types of training that the TVET institutions are offering are what the market needs, or what are the jobs that people can actually do? Where is the demand?
The majority of Papua New Guineans who are employed in the formal sectors, with access to formal banking for saving and wealth creation, and who pay taxes to the government, which in a perfect world goes towards developing infrastructure, maintaining the public sector, and so forth. However, the rest of the vast population who are unemployed are often left behind and turn to other means of survival.
I think it's important to recognize that we have to look at the structure of the economy here. So we know that we have a very large informal sector economy here. So I might talk a little bit about that first and say that, of course, the education, formal education, is as important for the informal sector as it is for the formal sector. Education is not just for the formal sector.
At the workshop, attendees raised their concerns about the Employment Act being long overdue for an upgrade, urging policymakers and think tanks to update policies.
Stakeholders have urged that the National Employment Act be tailored to cater to the changing job market. Now, according to the Department of Labor and Industrial Relations, the Act is now in its third draft.
We started the review of the Employment Act in 2012, and by 2013 we had a draft, the law draft, the employment relations. It changed its name from Employment Act to Employment Relations Bill. So we have the third draft bill, like I mentioned there, that the stakeholders are going through.
A coffee cooperative in a remote station in the Kabum district has called for more support to get their coffee beans to Lae. Nukna Coffee Cooperative has over 400 bags of coffee still at the Yalumet airstrip waiting to be transported to Lae. The coffee bags are to be flown out by third-level airplanes that are not only expensive but face cuts in flights because of fuel shortages. Bethany Hariman reports from Lae.
Yalumet is a station in a remote part of the Kabum district. Like many parts of the Deyamos LLG, the only way of getting into the station is by air. Third-level airlines fly people, cargo and cash crops in and out of the station, but it is expensive. Despite the transport challenges, Yalumet farmers have established a cooperative that has already represented farmers in the coffee cupping competition in Lae 2 months ago, where their coffee was rated among the best quality. But quality is being jeopardized because they have 400 bags still at the station.
Na mi believe okaman ba ipla saboti mi bla ista baksa ilo mi bla long kain osem olman meri mi pesta min sa remote area
The coffee bags have been sitting at the station for many months and quality is slowly decreasing because of moisture forming in the beans. Coffee experts have warned against long storage affecting bean quality. The Coffee Industry Corporation has already warned farmers that bean quality will drop, reducing coffee export prices. In this interview in August, CIC's Rose Romalu said quality is becoming a concern because of long storage.
Our greatest concern, especially for the coffees, are staying too long before processing, because the higher the moisture levels in the beans and the more they stay longer in the bags, definitely there'll be some quality issues.
In Yalumet, coffee has real potential to become the people's main source of income. The trees are grown on family land and owned by them. They have now cooperatives existing to represent them in the international market. They are now at a juncture where they can make money from their own hard work.
Plant the crops and stuff. Long me can market, all people can market. Long saving the school fee, all this black kind, long saving me family, all this black, that's me facing problem because me no got this black road where people here me need him straight and me road.
But they need more help from the government. If airfares are subsidized by the government or the road from Wasu is completed, more bags can come out from this part of the Morobe province.
Me black on the service I help me black long 1969 coming up now strip that's all. Strip today I'm 320 kilo me black I buy balus. Now this black no long people here you can sell them coffee all this black kind because freight block balus to want up. Also me black I carry coffee here and I go walking about me black here I go where one of my place me black I sell them. I'm say taking black 8 hours. 8 hours me black walking about. So big black me black I facing me here.
The people are calling on the national government to directly intervene and complete the road that is supposed to be from Bit to Yalumet. The road could solve much of their problems, but construction stopped when the local level government funds ran out and the government cut from 500,000 kina to 100,000 kina.
Council looks away long heavy where people seem now. Me blood talk yes this time government budgeting 500,000 each all eligible sim. That's like 2 year 2013 and 14. Council one bill na me play working on blah council and business na me play working on some come out some business blow me blah.
And now on to some news bites. Deputy Opposition Leader Sam Basil has called on the government to find cost-cutting mechanisms to improve the economy, rather than relying on proceeds from future projects to save the economy. This was his response to comments raised by the Governor of Central Bank over the operation of the Wafi Golpu and Frida mines.
Following day one of the Consultative Implementation and Monitoring Council meeting in Port Moresby, Deputy Opposition Leader Sam Basil responded to comments made by Central Bank Governor Loy Bakani on future projects in the country.
Concern from the opposition that what if those two mines don't come on stream? How will the government and the Central Bank Governor help make the economy better, especially the foreign exchange reserves that we are having. We used to have 4 billion US in 2012 and recently we just had 1.7 billion.
He said Wafi Golpu and Frida mines have just entered into the construction phase, and from experiences with Eden Valley mine, there are outstanding landowner issues that need to be settled. One of the environmental damage is the deposition of tailings from the mine that is causing widespread of sedimentation downstream of the Watut River, which could potentially lead to the mine's closure.
The other issue is that we have had tailings problem from Eden Valley down to Upper Watut, Middle Watut and Lower Watut in sedimentation that affected their food gardens, crops, waterways, and those issues hasn't been fully addressed. The matter is still in court.
He criticized the announcement by Mr. Bakani to use the bank's procurement to purchase generators and the government's plans to ask for foreign reserves.
So the central bank governor must really tell the people of Papua New Guinea if the central bank's operations is independent. I don't think so. So we have seen the depletion of the foreign reserves and the hammering of the economy to the shape that we are in today. And we believe that if the central bank would have operated independently, some bad decisions by the government will not be entertained.
Preparations for the APEC Leaders Summit have heightened with the ground-turning event for the construction of the new APEC House in Port Moresby. The APEC House will host the Prime Ministers and Presidents of the 21-member economies when Papua New Guinea hosts the event come 2018. The budget for the construction of the building stands at 120 million kina.
The APEC House will be built on reclaimed land at Ella Beach. The design of the building is based on the shape of a Lakatoi sail and will showcase the sailing traditions of our people. According to the Minister for Sports, National Events and APEC 2018, Justin Tichenko, the APEC House will be an enduring legacy.
This building is to not only be iconic, but when you see it from the air, or when you see it from the land, or when you see it on a postcard or on TV or on the internet or on Facebook, you'll symbolize it and recognize it as Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea, just like the Sydney Opera House is to Australia.
The building is being undertaken by Oil Search Limited through a tax credit scheme, as was approved by the National Executive Council. Oil Search Managing Director Peter Botten said the company was pleased to be able to partner with the government and NCD to deliver this long-term legacy building.
There's nothing greater that will bring PNG into the spotlight in PNG's history, in the bringing of world leaders to Port Moresby in 2018. An APEC House will be a real icon in terms of portraying PNG again to the world and those leaders. And to play a small role in developing that, in supporting government to deliver that this building, is a significant privilege for us and one we take with due responsibility.
The design of the building was done by Cardno. Global Construction won the bid through an oil search tender to build the foundations and footings of the building. This is expected to be finished by February 2017. Following that, another technical tender process will begin for the construction of the actual building, which will be expected to be completed by August 2018. Later this afternoon, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill said in a statement that the APEC House will be the focus of global attention during APEC, and it will also be a national icon that will be used by generations of Papua New Guineans in the decades ahead.
Rimbunan Hijau, translating to Forever Green, or simply better known as RH, have been operational in PNG for over 25 years, with reaches in several sectors: forestry, timber processing, palm oil, media, retail and property development. Last week, they opened their first offering to the PNG hotel industry, the Stanley Hotel and Suites in Port Moresby. The official opening of the Stanley Hotel marks the first resort-style hotel in Moresby, located along Waigani, right next door to the RH Vision City Mall.
Last night in Port Moresby saw the opening of the Stanley Hotel and Suites, the latest investment by Rimbunan Hijau in the country. Several members of parliament and heads of private organizations were there to witness a grandiose ceremony that had acrobats, violinists, a drum corps and other entertainment. The RH chairman thanked the different NGOs and the government for working closely with them, stating that the RH group provided over 10,000 jobs, out of which the Stanley Hotel and Suites provided 600 direct jobs.
Rimbunan Hijau has always been committed to long-term development in Papua New Guinea. For more than 25 years, we have sought out opportunities to bring jobs, and other opportunities to remote parts of the country in close partnership with the government. We have helped create new opportunities all over Papua New Guinea.
The Prime Minister was present to congratulate the RH Group. He said that the opening of the hotel was indeed timely with the upcoming APAC, FIFA match and future events to take place in the country, and is a testament to the country's economic growth.
In 2018, we will be hosting the APAC meetings. This hotel will be crucial to that event, and of course, it will continue to host many meetings leading up to that, including ministerial meetings. I'm certain that this grand ballroom that we are here today will be the host of many such events.
The PNG government has been working closely with Rimbunan Hijau for many years in several different sectors and has in a way paved a path for the private sector and the government of PNG to form partnerships.
We are also seeing more partnerships taking place between businesses and, of course, government, NGO groups, building a stronger Papua New Guinea.
The Stanley Hotel and Suites is a 429-room hotel and serviced apartment complex in Waigani next to the RH Vision City Mall and is one of the newest additions to the hotel industry in Papua New Guinea. Involving more women in business has been a workable concept encouraged by the PNG government in recent years. Most women are utilizing their talents and venturing into areas that have remained largely untapped. Tonight, we take you to Kokopo in the East New Britain province to the home of Annette Sete. Miss Sete is an emerging fashion designer who runs a backyard fashion shop with big plans for the industry.
So the problem is this one is a size 16.
I've come to the home of Annette Sete at Butuin, just a few minutes drive from the central business district of Kokopo. Annette is a former journalist and a sales and marketing executive. She quitted her job about 2 years ago and ventured into fashion and designing. She now runs a fashion shop at her backyard with the brand name Lava Girl.
So we were trying to do like something about East New Britain because we started here, and given our name is Lava Girl, we wanted to showcase the volcano, the lava, East New Britain.
While the Lava Girl brand is just almost 2 years old, the name had already become popular.
A lot of our stuff that we do is basically jewelries, and recently we've gotten into garments and we do like prints on garments.
Annette, who is also running her market online, is seeing the potential of the industry in the country that have remained largely untapped over the years.
Basically a gift that somebody who has everything would want. You know, like if somebody has a DVD or, you know, gold earrings or whatever else, you want to give them something that's different with a Papua New Guinea theme on it. So that's what we do.
About a month ago, from her backyard shop, she and her team made it with their designs into the PNG Fashion Week in Port Moresby.
Every opportunity we get to sell, we sell. Like we did the fashion show, and the next morning we just announced that on Facebook that we're going to sell the pieces that came out from the runway here.
She says while the transition from the traditional to modern life is occurring, the demand for fashion is taking new turns in Papua New Guinea. And for her, she says it's not just about doing fashion business, but to make a contemporary art and design that is more Papua New Guinean, that will be kept as souvenirs by her customers, both within PNG and overseas.
Head of the Asian Development Bank in PNG, Marcelo Mink, says the upgrade of airports in the country is one of the top priority projects of ADB. In a recent interview with EMTV, Mr. Mink said airports are the key entry points to the world. Mink said it's not just the facelift, but providing a reliable, safer and efficient transport service for the country.
The Civil Aviation Development Investment Program, or CADIP, was developed and adopted by the government to revitalize and maintain the country's civil aviation network, mainly the 22 national airports. ADB Country Director Marcelo Mink says PNG is developing, and the CADIP project is to ensure
PNG airports comply with international civil aviation safety and security standards.
And in this case, civil aviation is not a luxury like in some other countries, but is a need to connect the people of the different parts and to move also goods and services. Now, through this project, we will make sure that the country and the airspace will remain open by making sure that all aircrafts can be able to land and take off and operate in the national airports.
Progress has been made in Tranche 1 of the program. Boram Airport in Wewak, Hoskins in West New Britain, Gani in Milne Bay, Kagamuga in Western Highlands, and the Jackson's domestic terminal in Port Moresby. Kavieng and Goroka will also see facelifts. Others include Girwa in Northern and Aropa in the autonomous region of Bougainville. In the recent development forum, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill maintained that the understanding between the government and ADB will ensure the desired objective is achieved.
We're able to roll out the EMTV program, which is really upgrading our airports throughout many of the provincial towns into a better, higher standard of facilities, including the runways and the security aspect of it, and of course the terminals and the facilities that we are building.
Stakeholders in the CADI project include the National Airports Corporation, CASA and PNGS Service Limited. ADB is providing a loan of nearly 90 million kina for the Tranche 2 program.
And that's all from us tonight. For more business news, or if you would like to view this episode again, visit EMTV online at the URL at the bottom of the screen, or for up-to-the-minute business news and updates, like our page on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at BusinessPNG or on Tumblr. Until next week, have a pleasant evening. I'm Michelle Bird and this was Business PNG.